Hello everyone, hello. I'll just wait for people to come on in. Just to let you know, I have pre-recorded this video because my internet, while it is much better, it's still dropping out every now and again. So I thought it best to pre-record and not hope for the best on the day. So while I'm just yapping away here, everyone's hopefully coming in. I'll be in the chat with you all, so I'll say hello over there as well, answer any questions you have. So show my hands that I am here. Yes. So come on in. I'll just give it another second or so. Oh, excuse me, frog in my throat again. So I hope you are all having a wonderful stamp camp. We love our stamp camps. So while this bundle wasn't on my list, it is growing on me, really growing on me, and I really love the dies. So as you can see, the leaf die is just gorgeous. It's I don't know, the intricacy, no, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just, I don't know, it's very nice. You can all fill in the blanks for me. It's been one of those weeks while I'm recording. My eldest boy has finished high school, completely finished his schooling life, and he's graduated. Now he just has to sit the high school certificate exam, and then he's out in the workforce. So we've had a big week last week. All right, let's get everything ready. Okay, let's get started. Hopefully everyone should be here. So these are all the bits and pieces that I'm going to use in my card today. I am going to use my favourite embossing folder, the fern embossing folder, and then everything else is from the bundle. So now you're probably looking at this and going, what on earth has this woman done with those leaves? I actually cut this section out, so I just got some cardstock, and you'll see that this just sits like so, and I just cut it out there. And I'm using the red leaves. I just wanted a smaller leaf rather than these two large ones. So and these two were the perfect size, so I went, let's see if that works, and it did. So that's what I'm doing. So don't be afraid to cut up your bits and pieces. Okay, so we are going to layer the fern embossing folder, and I forgot to get it out to show you. Although you probably don't need to be shown it, do you? Good grief. Okay, so the fern. So I'm going to get my layer. So let's start at the beginning, shall we? Card base, as usual, is my tent style, and it is half of my A4 cardstock. So that's how I work. Then I've got my next layer, which is always, or well, generally, most of the time, 1/2 centimetre smaller. So for you ladies in the US, 1/4 inch smaller. So this is my piece. I'm going to put that in here. Generally what I like to do is put it on the front, and then the line that is across the bottom where the Stampin' Up logo is. I generally like to line my cardstock up with that, and then I fold it up, and then I will run that through my embossing machine and then it comes out looking gorgeous like that. Highly recommend this fern embossing folder. It's the 3D one, so it really, like, you can just feel that texture there. It's so nice, it's beautiful. So as I said, that's just going to stick to there. Now I've used the label, let me take it out of here so that we don't get, put that over there, we don't get the glare. So I've used the label die and cut out in the white. I've used the 2 sprigs and I've cut in white, basic white and evening evergreen. And then I got this gorgeous DSP, so that's one side. I was debating, do I go this side or do I do this side, but this side won out. And I cut out the smaller, so you've got the 2 leaves, so this is the larger one, and I've cut out the smaller one on this DSP, and it just gives it a bit of colour. So it's not just, you know, evening evergreen, white, there's a bit of red, you know, and especially the red leaves. It just makes it all pop. So that's going to go down here, and then this piece, this solid piece, which is this, that's going to sit behind the leaves on the label here. So if you are smarter than me, and I say this every time and I always forget, I'm just bad memory, I think. If you're smarter than me, when you die cut your panel out, I'm just going to roll my sleeves up because they're getting in my way. Get some of your adhesive sheets and place it on, I'm going to use this as an example. So say this was my, where I'm going to cut. Let's grab the die instead so I can show you. So if you're going to cut this die out on here, then put some adhesive sheet just behind here, so that when you die cut it out, you can then pull away. So you've die cut it, you can then pull the backing off the leaf and then adhere, oops, turn it around the right way, and then you can adhere this panel directly to it. So it can just go on the back, and it's much easier to work from the back when doing this. But I'm going to be using liquid glue, so you can see it'll get a little bit messy, but it's okay. That's what cloths are for, to wipe your hands, wipe your surface. But as I said, if you're a little smarter than me. Right, so I'm just going to move. I'm separating my bits and pieces so I know where everything is going to go. So I know that's probably very hard to see, isn't it? So let's work on, nearly lost the lid. Let's work on here. So I'm just going to get some of my glue, work it around. There we go, some more glue. Now I'm not too fussed as to how much glue is on there, and there is, oh come on glue, My glue doesn't want to come out. There we go. You really only want a small amount. And then just place it over the top. It just fits in nicely. Right, so I'm going to let that dry. So I'm just going to put that over to the side there. And then make a bit of space, I think. Right, so let's adhere this down. Now if you wanted to add a bit more colour, you could always trim this down a fraction, like two millimeters, maybe 3, so about 1/8 of an inch, and then you could put evening evergreen or real red behind this, and that would give it a bit more colour, but I quite like the white on white. So let's grab my my liquid glue. I'm a liquid glue girl. Anyone else a liquid glue, or are you more the dry adhesive, your tear and tape and what have you? I just can't for the life of me get things straight. So if I use dry adhesive, I know that it's just going to be a mess. So I'm just going to push that down and give that a second to work. There we go. Okay, so that's nice and secure. How's my label going? I've got a little bit of glue popping out there. There we go. Right. What I am going to do first is I am going to stamp. So what am I going? I'm going to use real red for this. Oops. So I'm going to ink up my Christmas wishes. I'm going to have to stand up for this one. Make sure. I'm just going to stamp off because sometimes yeah, that's what I thought. My ink pad was a bit juicy. So as you can see, when I've inked up, the whole of the stamp collected the ink. So I'm just going to give that a nice good wipe, and I'm just going to grab my card. This is an old credit card, and I'm just going to bring the ink down to the bottom. You don't need to press hard, just, you know, a light scrape, just multiple scrapes should be fine. And I'm just going to put that here. So really light tapping is all that's needed. I still got that on the stamp set. What am I doing today? Oh, let's go back to here. Okay, so that's okay. Just double checking because I've already cut this out. I don't want to cut it out again. I'm going to, yeah, that's okay. Just going to line this up. So I'm going to line up the bottom, the word wishes, with the bottom line of this label. Try and keep it as straight Just wanted to get it as straight. And look, I've got ink on there. Can I get this? If this doesn't work, we're just going to go with it because I'm not pressing that down properly. And I don't want to press too hard. Okay. We're going to go with it. I normally don't like things like that, but we're going to just stick with it and go with it because it's already done and I've glued pieces and all right. I might fix that up later. So that is going to sit probably a little bit further up because I'm going to grab these pieces. So that is the larger of the leaves, and that is going to sit under there. I might just move that around a bit. That is going to sit there. I love that leaf in that DSP. This is then going to sit here, and that one somewhere there. I'm just playing at the moment. So that's kind of how I want it to sit, something along those lines. And then these pieces will come out here. And so, as I said, you know, we've cut this piece, and you can see where I've cut it down here, and then that's where my cardstock ended. But we don't need the whole leaf, so all I wanted was I wanted that in there, and then that piece was going to go there. Like so. So that's basically how the card is going to go. So I like to lay all my pieces out first, and then I can sort of see yes, no, maybe, whether or not anything, if I think something is going to look funny or if it looks out of place, then I can take it out or add something else in. But what I'm going to do with this piece is add some dimensionals. I'll sit back down again now. Just looking at my pieces, and I'm just going to run these dimensionals in the middle like that. So then I've still got room to slot these pieces in underneath so that the dimensionals don't interfere. So let's get this in. Whoops, throwing things around now. Oh, I've got to move that out of my way. So roughly where I want it to go. Okay, so about there. Now, if you also wanted to when you were die cutting these to add your adhesive sheets on the back. You can certainly do that. I'm only going to put adhesive on here. Again, you could, cut your adhesive sheets into little squares and you would just get the adhesive, die cut the adhesive on this part of the leaf. So you could put it under there and then the rest of your leaf is hanging free, and that just makes it look a bit more realistic, because leaves aren't necessarily, glued to the tree, are they? So you could also use glue dots to do this. I'm just going to bring my glue over. What I might do is glue this together, because I know where I want them to go. So I know the two pieces are I'm just going to grab my tweezers to help lift this panel up. And I'm just going to press down. There we go, unhook that. Okay. So if you wanted, where's my glue dots? If you wanted to use your glue dots, just grab my tweezers, I love them. You take a pick tool, would also be the same. I just like using my tweezers. So you can put glue dot on the end and then just lift that piece up. I'm going to just, actually before I stick that down, I'm going to put this in place. I'm just going to put some glue at the top, because remember this piece is up, it was raised, so we only want glue adhesive on the top part here. So that's that. And now I'll give that a second to dry, and now I can just add I'm just going to place it. I haven't pushed it down, so I want to make sure that it's in the right place, or that I'm happy with where it's placed. So again, put your glue dot on the back. Okay, push that down. Okay, so that is the bottom half done. I did think I had more pieces, but maybe, obviously I didn't. It must be in my head. Okay, so now we're going to work on the top piece. I'm going to stick the red pieces down first. So just get a bit of glue. So I don't want this section here because that's flat. So that's the bit that I just literally cut along there. So I need to have that tucked in a little. which is fine, but I want it to stick out enough that, you know, it gives the project some colour. And again with this one. Just lift that up and press that down. Oops. And this is where my tweezers come in handy. So whatever your choice is, whether it's a glue dot or if it's the liquid glue or you've die cut the adhesive sheets, whatever takes your fancy and whatever is, you know, your preference, then you will be okay. I am going to add some more dimensionals under these two leaves, and I'll do that in a minute. So that's our last piece. So now for some dimensionals under these two bits of leaves. I need to spin that around to face me for a minute, so I'm just bending it back, pulling the backing off, and pushing that down. So this piece flops around a bit, but I'm okay with that. You know, it depends if you are or not, but it's school holidays here in Australia, so I've just had my son come out from his bedroom. So if you hear a noise, it's just him. I had to shoo them away. They're playing in their bedrooms. Okay, so now we've got this. You can glue this down and still have the, you know, this label piece raised, or you can just leave it, and I'm happy to leave it. I'm okay with it like that, but if you prefer to adhere it down, then go for it. I'm just going to get my pieces out of my way. There we go. Right, so now I'm going to grab my Winker Stella. I've got two Winker Stellas on the go, and I'm unsure which is the good one and which is the one that's running out. I think this is the good one. And I'm just going to go around the darker shading area of the berry, and because I always like a bit of sparkle. There we go. I didn't show you how to stamp the berries, but I'm just going to grab a piece. There we go. What I find, I haven't finished, but I do want to show you the berry section of it. So you've got these two pieces. So you've got one's, it's very hard to see, one's a solid and one's the shading. So I have used Real Red and Cherry Cobbler, and I found for me that when, what did I do? Here we go, my blocks. I found that using the Cherry Cobbler for the shading first was much easier, and just press very lightly. So I've pressed a bit too hard there, which means my ink pad needs to be adjusted. I need to just scrape it. And then I found it so much easier to line up the solid image when I had this down first. And I've got glare from my light. I can't see. No, I truly can't see. So I've almost got it lined up properly, but the glare from my light was in my way, and I found that. And what I also did do, my sheet of paper just went flying, was I stamped this off. Let me just grab. So I stamped off first, and then I stamped on there, and it just gave, it gives a bit of a lighter shade as well. So when you come back to your Cherry Cobbler, and I can see that I've got ink. All right. I do need to fix that ink pad up. See, I find this more difficult than doing it the other way. So you can see you've got the different shades as well if you wanted to stamp it off first, but I quite like the shading of just straight stamping. Alright, let's get everything out of the way. So I am going to add now I could add the iridescent rhinestones, so there's an option. I could also add my basic rhinestones as they are, which is quite pretty. Or I could get my Real Red or even my Cherry Cobbler blends and colour them in red, and then I've got red gems or rhinestones. If you don't have a particular colour, just get your blends and colour them in. I could colour these in any of the blends, and yeah, they would work. I think they would still come out with a little bit of iridescence on them. So now I'm torn. Iridescent. Let's do ribbon first, and then that will decide. So I've got a few choices for ribbons as well. So I used my Evening Evergreen open weave ribbon, and all I did was I got my scissors and I cut it straight up the middle, and then tied it into a nice big bow. So I was going to adhere that like that. Then I got, I can't remember what bundle this is from now. Was this, oh goodness, one of you ladies will probably write it down in the comments. My brain has gone to mush. I think it's the Santa Express one, is that right? Goodness me. I normally like to write down what they are, but I've used the red out of that pack, and my beautiful organza, white organza ribbon. I think that's what it's called. And then that one would sit like that. So and you're probably writing down in the comments, green, red, red, green, but I can't see them while I'm filming, because I'm recording. But I'm going to go red. I really thought I was going to go green, but I'm going to go red. And I'm going to put that in the corner here. So, where are my glue dots? Here they are. And I'm going to grab my tweezers, and I'm going to grab a couple of glue dots. And put it just there. So that, because of the ribbon and it's kind of iridescent as well, that is going to decide that I'm going to use my iridescent rhinestones rather than my basic ones, but that's okay, they're so pretty. Oops. I do love these. So you've got the 3 sizes as well. So you've got your small, your medium, and your large. So I tend to have a go at all of them. Sorry if you can hear my boys talking. They're playing together. So that is it. We are done. What I might go and do is re-stamp this piece and die cut it using, so if you make this mistake where, you know, I obviously didn't press hard enough, grab this piece, this label piece, and you can stamp again, and then you can adhere back down on top there, and you're good to go. It just, you know, looks like an extra layer. So, you know, don't panic if this happens. But there, I hope you enjoyed this card. Sorry, my boys are whispering and they're not whispering. I hope you enjoyed this card I made, and I hope you are enjoying your stamp camp. I know that, you know, we love bringing stamp camp to you, and we look forward to the next stamp camp, because there's always a next stamp camp, isn't there? But enjoy your day, and play along with all the fun things that we've got going on outside of the outside of our presentations, our demonstrations. So yeah, enjoy yourself, have a great day, and I will see you in the next stamp camp. Bye everyone.